Hey everybody, welcome back again, and today we're taking a look at another figure that's been hitting doorsteps for now about the last week and a half or so, and that's going to be FansToys FT-32 Hadid, which is their version of a MP Scaled G1 Mixmaster. So I know there have been a lot of online reviews that have already been published on this guy. I've actually purposely avoided any of those review videos just so I can kind of get my own genuine first impression of this when I unbox it. I know there's a lot of controversy. I've seen a lot of the posts in the Facebook groups and some of the message boards and whatnot. So we're going to go ahead and unbox this guy today. I'm just going to give what my first impressions are of it. So without any delay, let's go ahead and get into it. So I got my copy from Nick the Toy Guy. I've gotten a couple figures from those, always super reliable. Here we go. So right away I can see that the box for this guy is a little bit bigger than the other Constructicons in the set. It's packed in there pretty good. Alright, so looking at the box, we've got some more really impressive artwork on the front of it. I love the artwork that this guy does for all of these pieces. So really fantastic looking there. The side of it, standard for FansToys stuff with the figure name and number. The top we've got alt mode, bottom alt mode, and then the back we've got a good bit of product shots and different poses. So pretty much standard as far as the packaging goes for this one. And let's see if I can get this guy opened on the right side. I always struggle with this. I never can remember how they package them, whether the thin part of the shell is the top. And here we go. So in the package, let's take a look at the accessories. So we've got some alternate face sculpts here for the figure. We've got a teeth gritting sculpt. We've got a screaming sculpt. We have another trumpet. So it's the same that we get with the other figures in this set. Really nice, very heavy, solid metal. We also have a set of rockets that go into the box that we get above the head sculpt. So these are done in chrome. I will say my copy right there has some chrome knocked off. It's kind of difficult to tell in the video, but there's a little bit of chrome knocked off on the corner there. Same way here. I'm wondering if that's probably how they come off the sprue out of the mold maybe, and that's the break point. Not really sure. And then we've got this part here. This is what forms the part of the head piece that goes over his head. This was kind of featured in the official FansToys video that they did for the transformation. So these pieces fit in here, and they are actually keyed. So nice looking there. And then we've got the drill bit hand replacement parts for the Devastator combined mode from that one episode. And these actually fit into here somehow as well. Honestly, I can't remember how it goes. I think like this. There we go. And then this is obviously the hip connector to connect the legs to the lower torso of Devastator in combined mode. So we get 2 of each of these. So really nice here. Some pretty stiff joints there that will attach everything. So this goes into that purple part that came with the long haul or Calatrava figure that forms the hips. So there we go there. And then here we go with Mixmaster himself, and mine is, actually I tell you what, let's look at this first. We've got his pistol here. It was kind of buried down there in the bottom, so the typical dark gunmetal paint, pretty straightforward there. Looks good, as always. And then here we go with the figure himself. And so my figure has got a lot of oil residue on it, straight out of the package here. Yeah, he looks pretty good. I will say that as a kid, Mixmaster was probably my least favorite of the Constructicons. It was my least favorite toy in that set. It was my least favorite of the Constructicon characters. Just never particularly cared for them very much. But I have to say, this figure is probably one of the better looking ones in the FansToys set so far. I think my personal favorite is Long Haul, followed pretty closely by Hook and maybe this guy. This guy and Hook, you know, maybe vying for that second spot in terms of how good he looks. Does have a little bit of a backpack. This part just fell off. Wow. So that's not good. We'll have to play around with this to get that reattached. So that's interesting. I don't know if this is a QC issue yet, or it's just a matter of that part needing to be snapped back on. A little bit surprised there. Let's maybe take this and pop it back on there. So yeah, I've never really had QC issues with any of my FansToys figures. This is probably going to be my first experience with that, and I'll have to figure out how to get that snapped back in. But the figure itself looks really good. Let's take a look at the articulation. So as far as the head, he can look up a good bit. We don't really have any down. It's just on a hinge here. Head goes all the way around. Arms, we get not a whole lot upward movement. We're just kind of blocked by the upper part of his shoulders there. All the way around on friction joints. We get a little bit better than 90 degrees on the arm. We do have a bicep swivel. And then the hands are the same as the other hands. I do notice a pretty distinct difference in the color in the hands versus the rest of it. They're more of a almost like a neon yellow looking appearance, like a highlighter. But the fingers articulated individually, 2 points. The thumb is on a ball base with a single pin. For the waist, it doesn't look like we get any waist rotation. And no, it doesn't look like we get any ab crunch. For hips, we get individual front hip skirts, side hip skirts, legs go out that much on each side. And there's a little bit of a difference there. We've got kind of a universal joint there. Legs go up a good bit to the front. The back not so much because we're blocked by the backpack. At the knee, we do get better than 90 degrees at the knee, and we get some ankle tilt, and we don't get any toe tilt or anything like that. So overall, about what we've come to expect from these Constructicons in the FansToys line. You know, the articulation isn't super great, but I understand this probably due to a lot of the engineering that has to be done in order to make these combiners. I'm going to go ahead and try to get this guy into his alt mode, and we'll take a look at it there, so stay tuned. All right, here we have Mixmaster or FT-32E Hadid in his alt mode. It was a little bit more of a complex transformation than I anticipated. I think I still have a little bit of cleanup to do here in a couple places and some pegging in, but I mean, it turns into a pretty massive alt mode. They do a really good job of kind of the mass shifting and expanding these things out, but I mean, it looks like a concrete mixing truck. I do know that they're, let's see, the back piece here, I think we can hook onto the back of the truck. So I'm trying to remember how that goes. So I think it was already in the proper mode, and it pegs onto the back like so and kind of fills in the back a little bit. better. It doesn't look quite as empty, but you know, these are very, I would say, animation accurate vehicles. There's not a whole lot of greebling or a lot of engraved panel lines on them. I mean, there are a few, but they have a very monolithic animated color look to them. So overall, I mean, he's very faithful to the original character in the cartoon. I think they did a pretty good job with this. So I'm going to try to get this guy in his combined mode, and we'll take a look at it there as well. All right, here we have FT-32E Hadid in his combined mode, and I think maybe I forgot to put a panel down on either side. So I think maybe there's still a little bit of cleanup that needs to be done here to stabilize everything, but for the most part, we have him in his combined mode, and as you can see, he's pretty big in combined mode. Looking at the articulation, so I think we have some knee bend. We get a little bit more than 90 degrees at the knee. We get a little bit of toe pivot, but in all honesty, I don't know if this is because I don't have everything properly transformed yet, but we do get some ankle tilt as well on this guy. But yeah, as you can see, I mean, this obviously is the mode that seems to be causing the most controversy here. It looks like a really thin leg, not quite as bulky as Scrapper is in his leg mode. It is a cartoon accurate, but there is still something about it, at least I don't think looks completely right. I have to wonder if maybe the Bone Crusher will have some sort of an additional maybe back plate that goes on the back portion of this to thicken it up just a little bit so it doesn't look like an anemic leg. But yeah, I mean, it's shaping up to be a gigantic combiner here. I think overall it looks pretty good. These are definitely meant to be in combined mode. I mean, obviously, the bot modes, at least in my opinion, are not the strong part of this set. I think X-Transbot's bot modes for their Constructicons are actually much better. They're much better proportioned. I think their articulation is a little bit better as well. But this guy definitely was meant to be displayed in combined mode. So that's where FansToys is killing it there. But again, I really enjoyed opening up this piece. We're getting closer to having everything completed. If you like this content, please like, please subscribe. I'll keep doing it, and thank you guys for watching.